Hello and welcome back to Kelman Explores. Today I want to talk about my review of the Celebrity Reflection. Okay, so let's get started. The Celebrity Reflection is part of the Solstice class. In fact, it's the newest member of the Solstice class. The Celebrity Reflection was launched in 2012 and underwent a refurbishment in 2017 for the public spaces. The Celebrity Reflection can hold 3,046 guests with approximately 1,271 crew members also on board. There's 17 decks, and at the time of its launch, it cost $750 million. So it was in fact a pretty expensive cruise ship to build for its size back in the day. That means that the Celebrity Reflection is approaching its 23rd year of service. There is some areas even after the light refurbishment in 2017 that I feel probably could use a little bit of updating, and mainly in like carpets, the linens, that kind of thing. But the overall space and bones of the ship, it's still very beautiful and I think a practical ship. The Celebrity Reflection is my fourth Celebrity ship that I have tried, and also the first time I've tried the Solstice class. So I have tried all classes of Celebrity. I started out with the Edge class on the Celebrity Ascent, and then we also did the Celebrity Beyond. We also tried the Millennium class, the Celebrity Summit in the Millennium class, and now we're on the Reflection. So we kind of did it backwards. Overall, I'm going to rate this like I do in all my reviews on basically 5 main things: the overall ship appearance, the overall stateroom quality appearance, crew, how was the crew and our interactions, their service, that kind of thing, the food, and the entertainment. So I like to end off with food because it's usually always the best with Celebrity, but let's go ahead and knock it out now. The food, of course, is always a winner on Celebrity. I have not been disappointed yet. Sometimes some things may have been slightly off temperature, but also I feel it's still very good, and I'm not going to send it back. I'm talking mainly soups and whatnot, and I do prefer my soup to be more of a lukewarm than boiling piping hot. But other people had some complaints that I did sit with. I was actually pretty much okay. Overall, we did try on this sailing, we didn't go to any of the specialty dining because we have been so many times on other Celebrity ships, but we did do the main dining room, I think every night, as well as also perusing the late night buffets either before or after dinner to make sure there's not something we didn't want to eat. I do recommend checking what's always in the buffet because Celebrity does what's called an extravaganza buffet on their last day of the cruise. Usually it's a sea day or whatever it is. It could be a port day on a short cruise like the Celebrity Reflection is doing, because they do 3 and 4 day cruises right now out of Fort Lauderdale. That is also, to break off on a tangent, the first time Celebrity is offering these short sailings, and it's almost like a sampling for many people who have not tried Celebrity to get into the brand and enjoy it on a shorter sailing and make sure it's something for them, and kind of like a preview of what Celebrity could be. In addition to the extravaganza buffet, which actually they had chilled shrimp on the ship, I will say in the Millennium class they did not, but so far they had shrimp, and then when you get to the newer classes there's a little more than that. I'm talking cocktail shrimp. They also had a lot of seafood. They had salmon and different cut like carvery meats. They had enough to please everybody, and this is only on the last day's lunch in the buffet, which is usually from about 11:30 to 2:30, sometime in that time range. So make sure you go check it out, even if it's only for dessert, because they have some really good desserts at that time. Also, another tip in the buffet at Celebrity: don't be afraid to ask for something that's not actually available with a spoon or something. You never know. I saw people getting big hunks of cake versus the little bite-sized ones they make. Just ask. In addition to that, as I was going to say, they also have themed evenings and sometimes lunches in the Celebrity buffet. For instance, Greek or Mediterranean night, Latin night, Asian night. It could vary per cruise, and it's hard to tell which night is what, but I will say some of my favorite desserts come from the Greek and the Latin or Mexican night. The Hispanic desserts are really good. They are small portions, so don't be afraid to get more than one. They had tres leches and all kinds of other things that are really flavorful, as well as on Greek night, and sometimes it's called Mediterranean night. They had a very good baklava and different Greek themed dessert. They also had beef kebabs, lamb kebabs, chicken kebabs, gyros. They had a lot of things on that Greek night, so we did also eat there too before going to our actual main dining room dinner. This sailing for us was a back-to-back, so we did a 4-day and then a 3-day, and we did have guests, so it was different guests on each sailing, so it was cool to see the different guests' reaction to the food they were eating and the quality. A lot of them weren't used to that quality on cruises that they have been before, so they were actually very impressed, except for my mother-in-law. She said it was good, but she says she had better food in the buffet on Carnival Freedom. I know. I don't agree with her, and maybe some of you don't, but she states it was really good, and it is in one of my videos. And I do support her decision because she knows what she's talking about. She probably had something I didn't eat, of course. I will say the food is not horrible on that ship, but it's not the same quality as a Celebrity, especially the Celebrity Reflection. After that, we did go, of course, to the main dining room for breakfast a few times, as well as for dinner most nights. I think every night, in fact. And the service was outstanding. The food was always pretty good. At some times, if you go, because we had my time dining, if you go a little too early or a little, actually in the middle of it, so about 7 p.m. for my time is the rush hour. Like 6:30 to 7:30 is the rush hour. It starts at around 5:30 and ends at about 8:15. So if you can go sometime before or after that rush hour there, you're going to get a table much faster, or it's going to be less busy and your food will come out quicker if you don't want to sit there too long. When we went those evenings at that time frame, it was a little chaotic and the servers were obviously very overwhelmed, but they never treated us in any other way but good. They kept telling, please give us a minute, we're getting everything ready for you, and they kept checking on us. So I do think they did a good job at handling the kitchen backlog periodically, and I never felt like I was forgotten about or just sitting there for no reason. It doesn't hurt to have a few drinks and some good company as well in those type of situations. So overall, I give Celebrity a really big score again on food. However, after trying Carnival and other brands, their quality may not be always as great, but they seem to have more included options. Whereas on Celebrity, the only included things that I could really find were, of course, the burgers, the buffet, and the main dining room. I could be leaving something out, so correct me if I'm wrong. There could be little bites or samples here and there, but there wasn't as many included options to kind of snack on as you're walking around. They do have a very good case outside of Cafe El Baccio, if I'm saying that, or El Baccio, which is their espresso bar on the ship for premium coffees and spiked coffees, if that's your thing. They do have a case where everything is included, and they also have non-sugar or sugar-free desserts available, I think, pretty much all day, as well as for lunch, they do also have some small sandwiches and bites. Those are also all included, and that is a cool spot to kind of stop off and get a little sample of something if you're getting hungry but not terribly hungry. We all overeat anyway on a cruise, so whatever. So overall, let's just say the food was great. Let's say a 9 out of 10. It was great, but again, the selection, besides those places, there wasn't much to eat. Number 2, let's go to overall ship appearance. The ship appearance is beautiful. You can tell it's an older ship, however, but I feel like it still has a very good flow and good customer space. I never felt cramped or overwhelmed, but again, our sailings, I don't think we're at full capacity, although I heard people saying we were sold out. Some of the spaces, again, going back to that, like the soft surfaces in some of the common areas looked kind of stained at some of the stairwells and elevator ports, but that's common after almost 12 years, right? Did I say 23 years? It's only 12. Oh my god, it's only about 12 to 13 years old, not 22. But still, 12 years of foot traffic. I do think they need to think about replacing or maybe doing some other type of surface for the areas outside of the elevator and the stairwells. I guess I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 as well. I did really like the atrium aspect, but at times it did seem a little cold, like not much decor in there and kind of dark. There is a stunning tree in the middle of the atrium that is suspended about halfway up, and we actually got to stay on the level that you can really see a lot of the tree, which is, I believe, deck 7. That is very cool, and it is an alive tree. It's maintained and they prune it and it's watered and it's just suspended over the atrium. Very cool feature, and I've never seen that before on a ship. They also, of course, have the lawn, which is on the very top deck of that ship, and it's pretty interesting, although it's not always usable because sometimes you're not allowed to walk on it, or they request that you please refrain from walking while they are maintaining the appearance of the turf, as with thousands of people every week running and stomping on the grass, it can get tired, so it needs a lot of upkeep, and they do a fairly good job, although it seems like a kind of unused space besides some of the mini golf events and some people just sitting there lounging. The ship overall, like I said, is a 9 out of 9, and I really do like it. I do think maybe some lighting or lighter colors in some areas would help update the appearance and maybe make the spaces seem a little brighter, at least when the daylight is happening, when there's natural light occurring. Again, it's a stunning ship, and for being almost 13 years old, I do give it some credit because I did enjoy it. It's easy to understand too, and with Celebrity, as always, remember, food in the back, fun in the front, and the middle is where you spend your money. So just keep that in mind if you're ever lost. Let's go to crew members. Overall, I think the crew is automatically a 10 out of 10. from our servers to our stateroom attendants, as we had a couple of different ones. It was awesome because doing a back-to-back, the stateroom stewards will move your things to your new room if you're staying on the, well, even if you get off the ship, if you're switching rooms. And it was very cool because we were what's considered consecutive cruisers. I don't have the actual paperwork here, but it is in one of my videos. You do get an envelope and it's all the instructions and everything you need to know about your consecutive cruising. Actually, this is the SeaPass cards from our previous stateroom that they gave to us. They do take those when you're getting into your new room. You give them your old ones, you go down to customs, you get a new photo, you get new cards for the new account and new stateroom, and then later on they will deliver these to your new stateroom, your old SeaPass cards, because we all like to collect them. In fact, I bought this in Costa Maya, Mexico, and this is where I'm going to start putting all my previous sail and sign cards, which are what these look like. And this is actually from Celebrity Reflection, back to back. Let's put that back there. But the room stewards in general were amazing. Our previous guy ushered all our stuff with the new steward to our new room, so we weren't even involved. We just had to pack everything and leave it right kind of in the inside the stateroom, not outside. And then when we got to our new stateroom, everything was already delivered. We did take our valuables with us though, like our laptops, any kind of money, and of course our travel documents, and we left anything else, clothing and whatever, in our bags, everything packed up tight, so it was easy for them to move. It was all on wheels. I thought that was a really cool service, and I guess this is something that maybe all cruise brands offer, but it was nice to have that stress instantly removed when I questioned what do we do with our stuff. Our servers, from our bar servers on up, everything was really great. Our dining, we did have the drink package for part of this sailing, and let me tell you, we did use it. We drank a lot of martinis at the martini bar, which is probably, I should have mentioned this in my ship overall aesthetic review part, but it's probably one of our favorite places to hang out and to meet up and to socialize. We did meet a lot of interesting people there. We would often meet there, our group, and get drinks prior to eating dinner or whatever, going to a show. And we had a lot of fun meeting up there, and plus there's shows periodically through the night, a cocktail kind of show. They're juggling and doing many things. The martinis are stiff and they are expensive. I do recommend the lychee martini. That is my favorite, and it was probably the best martini I've ever had. It's right up my alley. It's sweet, but it's not terribly sweet. We did try, I think, every martini, and that was my favorite. Brittany's favorite was the lemon lavender martini, and she highly recommends that one. There's nothing wrong with a good old dirty martini also. Anyway, the servers and bar staff in that area alone are very cool. Even our casino host was awesome. There was 2 of them there, as the current person was training a new person, and she's actually being promoted and going to the Celebrity Beyond, and she is very happy about that, and I wish her all the best. She was also very nice. The gift shop people were very nice and hilarious and kept you involved and engaged during all the free raffles. I didn't know there were so many free raffles and free things to do on a cruise ship in the shopping areas, but you can also collect charms for a necklace. You can get a free charm bracelet, but they do that on all ships, but you do have to pay for the charms. That's something to keep in mind. But every day they give you little charms for the necklace, and you have to go to the shops and they give it to you. They're little crystals, and you can put them inside the little locket, and I recommend doing that. It is a way to get you to the shop. And they also have free raffles throughout the evening, usually from 5 p.m. onward, because they have to wait till they are out at sea and the stores are open. Some of the raffles also come with free champagne, so keep that in mind if you want to drink on a budget. There's a lot of free champagne at hand, and it's first come first serve, so grab yourself 2 flutes if you want and just get in the corner, and you can participate or not, but the champagne is there. Again, I do recommend Celebrity for service alone as well as food alone. From the security on up, the security team is the nicest and friendliest at sea whilst still doing their job correctly. They're very thorough, but also do everything with a smile. I do think that the entertainment team was also very accommodating and very nice. From the cruise director on down, cruise director is Luigi, which we had him on the Ascent, and he is very good. And he's also very nice to all his crew members. The captain was amazing. I think his name was Captain Kirk, but he did switch during our back-to-back, which was interesting. He went to cover another ship for a week, and we had somebody else come, but they never announced who the captain was, or I never heard it. And we think we saw the captain walking as somebody was carrying all their luggage, because we were some of the first people back on board, of course, when we did the back-to-back, and we saw it looked like a VIP, 2 people carrying this person's luggage and stuff while they just walked in civilian clothing. So we assume that was the captain for the second part. Again, crew is 10 out of 10, and that has been every time since we've sailed on Celebrity, so I highly recommend Celebrity for their crew and service alone. They will help you, they will be nice to you, and there's never anything that you can't ask. If they can't help you, they will nicely inform you they cannot help you and not make you feel like you weren't helped in some way. Let's move on to the entertainment. So the entertainment was a little iffy on this ship. I do feel because it is older, there is not many like Broadway new current type production shows. There was the Broadway Cabaret, which we did see on Celebrity Summit, so I'm thinking this is an older ship show that's kind of fleet wide. It was okay, we stayed through the whole thing, and it was a little different than the first time we saw it, as it had acrobats and different people also dancing and doing things while the singers were singing and doing Broadway tunes from their favorite shows. It was very well sung, and I will say the audio and the lighting was very entertaining, but as far as set pieces and that kind of thing, there was very little of that. It was mainly just the people, which I guess that was the point, to make it feel somewhat intimate, even though it was a big stage. The stage is beautiful on Celebrity. On the Celebrity Reflection, I just think it might need a little more innovation to get some of these newer type Broadway production shows with all the big sets and that kind of thing. We did also see a couple of comedy shows as well as game shows hosted by the cruise director. I will say Dizzy the Magician was on board, and his Mayhem and Magic show was very entertaining, and we all laughed. He did 2 different shows, and I recommend seeing them both, as both of them had very cool magic parts and also some very funny comedy. It was a very family friendly event, and I think you can bring everybody to that show. Speaking of family, I will say most Celebrity cruises seem to have more adults versus kids, sometimes very little if not any kids on longer sailings. If you're going on the Celebrity Reflection, be prepared for a much more diverse age range. I'm saying from kids on up to grandparent. There was full families and stuff all over the ship, as it was a short sailing, which some of it encompassed a weekend, so everybody could come and go on this short Celebrity cruise in the family. Some of the crew members did reflect that to me on a personal note. I won't name them, but they did state that these shorter sailings are not their favorite, as it brings a more hectic, maybe booze cruise kind of vibe, whereas most people want to party with their friends and family or their kids and just have a great time. There's nothing wrong with that, but they are used to the more tranquil guests that are there all week and not really partying really late. But I think this is a good way for people to try Celebrity that may not have otherwise tried the Celebrity brand because of the shorter sailings. The price point is right because you're not paying for 7 days and up. You're paying for either 3 or 4, and it's a perfect glimpse of the quality of food and service that Celebrity has to offer. So overall, I'm talking about other things in it, but the entertainment, I'm going to give the entertainment an 8 out of 10. I think the actual singers and production staff, everybody involved was amazing, but I think the quality, the script, and maybe the set pieces were what was lacking. So the actual talent involved was 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it lower marks for it being a kind of older show that I wasn't quite interested in. The comedy was very good, and I give Dizzy a 10 out of 10. Let's end it here and try to wrap this up, because it's been a while, on the Stateroom. Now I'm going to turn this light down a little bit because this is blinding me, so let's get serious here in the dark. This is really hurting my eyes. I hate lights. I don't know how newscasters can do it. I have pity for all of you weathermen and people with lights in your face. Oh my god, I might actually just turn it off. Sorry guys, I'm gonna try to brighten this part up. Overall, my stateroom, our stateroom, as we had different ones for the sailings, we did have also 2 balconies on the first half and then a balcony and no window room on the second half, so we were able to see a sampling of a couple of rooms. Overall, there was a few issues with the rooms, mainly in my mother-in-law's room. After one person showered, it was usually fine, but once another person showered behind them, the water would back up a little bit and not drain fast, so you were standing in a couple of inches of water, which no one wants to do that in pretty much a public shower that's been cleaned. As well as one of our staterooms on the second half, mine, pretty bad odor initially, and then it kind of wore off. We did report it and they did do their best to try to clean it, but we still kind of smelt it lingering. It did smell like somebody who drank a lot of martinis. You know what I'm talking about. And they did smell like they cleaned it, but it kind of came back, but then it started smelling almost like a Play-Doh smell. But you did get used to it pretty quickly, so it wasn't that bad after they did address it the first time. But it was a strange occurrence for me the first time ever on Celebrity. And also the carpet did look a little dated, and some of the other aspects of the room felt pretty dated, some of the actual outlets and different things like that. So I'm going to give the room only a 5 out of 10. I will say it's still very spacious. The bathroom was very spacious, but I do think the rooms need a little more upkeep, and not from the cabin stewards, but mainly when it goes to to dry dock, I do think they need to pump some money into these staterooms. With the smell and the overall appearance of some of the soft areas, as well as the storage was a little off in the hanging area. The closets have no shelving, which is quite old school, and the shelving that they did have was kind of a strange shape, really deep or really high above the bed. I do like the safe that they had. The safe was an older style safe, but it was very deep and wide, so you could put a full laptop in there. I'm thinking even a 17-inch laptop, maybe without a zipper bag, but at least a laptop could go in there. And I always like to put my laptop in there if I'm leaving to go to port for a full day. Not because of the stateroom steward, but in case they have the door open and they go around the corner and someone's walking by. You never know. There is security cameras everywhere, but you never know. So again, I am rating the room the lowest for me because it was my least favorite part of the ship experience. Overall, I think the design is still quite relevant of the rooms. I did like the look of the granite countertops and the light color of the wood details, but the carpeting, the drapes, and some aspects of the restroom, some of the tile work, and maybe some of the lighting, and the light plates and switches should all be replaced. I know that's a high cost, but Celebrity usually does a very good job at keeping their rooms up on their older ship, and I think this is just a weird time frame where it's not quite old enough, but it's about to be. So we are at that latter side when it's about to be fully refurbished, at least the stateroom. You have to think that this stateroom is almost 13 years old, and it's time to get a refresh after hundreds, if not thousands of people have stayed in that room. That's a lot of wear and tear and who knows what on the carpeting and soft surfaces of the room. That may be what contributed to the overall smell of our room. That's why I faulted it with the 5 out of 10 rating. But that's it for my rating here on Celebrity Reflection, and I do recommend Celebrity Reflection, especially if you've never tried Celebrity. It's a pretty cost-effective way to try out the brand, as you're not paying for a full week, and it's a good sample of what a full week can be, if not more. If you like a quieter cruise, don't let this cruise scare you away. There is going to be a lot more diversity on a sailing that's shorter because of the price point, and don't let that scare you. I don't mind the party vibe, as I have cruised on Carnival many times and Royal Caribbean for instance, and they do have a quite diverse crowd because of their opening price point. I hope everyone gets a chance to try Celebrity Cruise Lines, Celebrity Cruises, and especially the Celebrity Reflection. The Celebrity Reflection, the layout is probably one of the best layouts I've seen on a cruise ship. It's very easy to get around. You remember it for some reason very easy, and maybe because just the areas are so specifically unique and beautiful, it's kind of like a road map, easy to keep track of. Well, that's it guys, and I hope you enjoyed this review of my time on the Celebrity Reflection, and I hope to see you out there on it yourself. Let me know in the comments if you've been on the Celebrity Reflection, or if you love Celebrity, or whatever you have to comment. Just let me know. Have a great day, and remember to take some time to wander.